Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we are here. So Caroline, thank you for meeting us with us today. As it's shared today at the staff meeting, we are meeting with those who are most directly impacted by this restructuring decision. Unfortunately, your position is one that is being eliminated. I want to recognize how challenging this news might be. Please know that this decision is no way a reflection of your effort, the impact you've had. You have been a vital part of our team, and I deeply appreciate your hard work, dedication, and commitment. I know there's a lot to process, and it's a difficult situation for all of us. Please know that I'm here to support you through the transition in any way I can. I'm here to provide you with additional information on next steps, so I'll turn it over to her to share more details.
Okay. Hey, Caroline. Okay, I'm going to share some info with you. And you might, if you want to, you can write it down.
Oh, I'm recording this.
So, what was that?
I'm recording this.
Okay. So we've put a package together for you. No other changes. You'll be paid through the end of the week. So if you don't do anything at all, you'll still be paid through the end of the week. You have the option of staying through the end of the month if you sign what's called a transition of duties letter, and I'll get into the details of that in just a minute. And you can also keep your monitor and your keyboard and all of that kind of stuff. We would just need the laptop back. You decide tomorrow that you don't want to stick around to the end of December, you'll receive that package tomorrow, and you'll be paid through the end of the week. And then you'll have time to go through that package. If you want to stay longer, then you'll receive the package at the end of December, and then you'll have time through January to figure out if you want to accept it or not. You'll have until 2 p.m. tomorrow to say what you want to do. So that's basically you declaring, like, I want to just get my stuff now, or I want to stay through the end of the month. So that's what that transition of duties letter is for. Any questions about all of that, like the nuts and bolts stuff?
I understand this news comes with a lot of emotions, and you need time to process this information. Please feel free to take the rest of the day off today, or if you like to talk with me or talk to your manager, we are here. And any other question you have now? Okay.
This was...
Then
I
I'll
am
cut
so
this
disappointed.
You know. And worth noting, there's 3 months of outplacement support. Those are folks that help you sort of figure out what you're going to do next. They help you with your resume. They help you with all that.
I understand that. We're trying to buy a house.
I don't know that, but I understand.
I mean, like... Before the holidays? 2 weeks before the holidays? How callous? How callous?
Across the United States, millions of workers are waking up to a new and grim reality. The economic fabric of America is unraveling, not because of a lack of resources or opportunity, but because the systems that once promised stability have been gutted in the name of profit and efficiency. From tech hubs in Silicon Valley to once thriving malls in Middle America, the signs of decline are everywhere. At the heart of this crisis is a story as old as capitalism itself, progress for the few at the expense of the many. This time, however, the casualties aren't limited to one industry. The victims include retail workers, warehouse employees, restaurant staff, tech professionals, and small-town entrepreneurs, the backbone of the American economy. Retail was once the backbone of the American economy, employing more than 15 million workers and anchoring local communities. Today, it's a shadow of its former self. By the end of 2024, over 7,100 stores had shuttered, a staggering 69% increase from 2023. Stores like The Container Store, Walgreens, Macy's, Rite Aid, and many others are downsizing substantially or simply declaring bankruptcy, and household names are vanishing at an alarming rate. Party City, a staple for celebrations, has closed all 700 of its locations, leaving 12,000 workers without jobs. Big Lots, a critical resource for low-income families, has announced plans to shutter nearly 1,000 locations by early 2025, though a last-minute deal may save a fraction of those stores. Even Dollar Tree, once a symbol of affordability, has abandoned its promise of offering everything for $1. By 2024, inflation and rising operational costs forced the chain to raise most prices to $1.25 or more, alienating loyal customers who relied on its low-cost essentials. The challenges also extend to Family Dollar, owned by Dollar Tree Inc., which now faces closures of underperforming locations due to supply chain issues, labor shortages, inefficiencies like outdated systems, and competition from rivals like Dollar General.
Family Dollar opened its first store in Charlotte, North Carolina in 1959. It went public in 1970, expanded to 2,000 stores by 1993, and in 2015, Dollar Tree, which was the smallest of the three dollar store companies at the time, beat out its rival Dollar General to acquire Family Dollar.
Dollar Tree wanted to expand its presence across the U.S., and Family Dollar had over 8,000 locations at the time of the merger.
After the acquisition, Dollar Tree chose not to close many of the underperforming Family Dollar locations.
The thinking was at the time that they would invest in store renovations, they would make changes to the layouts of the stores, and maybe some other behind-the-scenes efforts to make Family Dollar stores more profitable, but it hasn't really worked out in the way they hoped.
The closure of Dollar Tree and Family Dollar stores hits low-income communities especially hard. These chains often serve retail deserts where affordable goods and groceries are scarce. When a store closes, residents lose access to vital items, from toiletries to school supplies, while workers lose part-time jobs in areas already plagued by unemployment. The company's struggles underscore a broader issue. What happens when stores designed to serve America's most vulnerable populations can no longer afford to do so? As these chains falter, the communities that need them the most are left with fewer options, intensifying the cycle of economic hardship. Even restaurants, once thought immune to these trends, are struggling. Applebee's, TGI Fridays, and Denny's have all shut down multiple locations across the U.S. Red Lobster, a mainstay of casual dining, announced a wave of closures in 2024 due to declining foot traffic and rising operational costs. Once a reliable choice for families and celebrations, Red Lobster now faces an uncertain future, emblematic of the challenges plaguing the broader restaurant industry. In relation to retail stores, for years, e-commerce has been blamed as a primary culprit behind the collapse of brick-and-mortar retail. It's an easy and understandable narrative. Amazon, with its low prices and next-day delivery, has outpaced traditional retailers.
The pandemic has transformed the world into a digital one. With an increasing number of people choosing to shop online, Amazon has established itself as one of the top U.S. retailers by sales. But as the e-commerce giant thrives, traditional retailers are struggling. Experts in the sector call the phenomenon the Amazon effect, according to Forbes. Since 2017, Amazon has been driving roughly half of all growth in the retail industry, and the company accounts for 31% of all retail purchases, an analysis by Morgan Stanley showed. That's a huge portion for one company alone to control in a $2.5 trillion industry. While the empire founded by Jeff Bezos continues to grow, many brands have been forced to adapt or shut down for good. In fact, since 2005, a decade after Amazon entered the market, the number of bankruptcies of brick-and-mortar retailers have skyrocketed.
But a closer look at the numbers reveals a more nuanced story. In 2024, online shopping accounted for only 15.6% to 16.2% of total retail sales. While that's a significant increase from 6.5% a decade ago, It's far from the 30% figure often assumed and reported by many. Brick and mortar stores actually still dominate the retail landscape, making the scale of closures harder to pin solely on e-commerce. Amazon's success, however, is emblematic of a broader shift in consumer expectations. Its model, offering convenience, competitive pricing, and vast selection, has redefined how Americans shop. Traditional retailers unable to compete with Amazon's economies of scale and AI-driven logistics are struggling to stay relevant. For small businesses, the arrival of an Amazon warehouse in their region often signals the beginning of the end. Yet, e-commerce alone doesn't explain why retailers like Big Lots, JCPenney, and Party City are failing. While e-commerce is a factor, the retail apocalypse is actually driven by a combination of forces. First, the cost of doing business has soared. Retailers are grappling with higher rents, utilities, wages, and insurance costs. Simultaneously, consumers, facing higher inflation and economic uncertainty, are cutting back on discretionary spending. Categories like apparel, home goods, and seasonal items have been hit the hardest. Second, the pandemic accelerated a change in how Americans shop. During lockdowns, many turned to online shopping out of necessity. Today, even with stores fully open, foot traffic hasn't returned to pre-pandemic levels. The convenience of next-day and two-day delivery has become king, and physical retailers have struggled to adapt. Third, generational shifts are also at play. Gen Z shoppers are more likely to buy online or through apps, while older generations remain loyal to in-store experiences. This divide has left traditional retailers fighting to appeal to multiple audiences, often unsuccessfully. Fourth, for years, retail chains expanded aggressively, opening new locations in every available market. Chains like Rite Aid, Walgreens, and CVS saturated neighborhoods with overlapping stores. When economic conditions tightened, these sprawling networks became unsustainable liabilities. And lastly, the pandemic triggered a labor shortage that continues to plague the retail and restaurant sectors. Burned-out workers have left for higher-paying industries, leaving stores and restaurants struggling to provide adequate service. Meanwhile, global supply chain disruptions have made it difficult to keep shelves stocked, driving frustrated customers elsewhere. But the challenges facing American workers extend far beyond retail and restaurants. Manufacturing giants like Boeing and Cargill are also feeling the strain. Boeing, reeling from supply chain disruptions, rising material costs, and safety issues, announced layoffs impacting more than 10,000 workers in 2024. For towns dependent on Boeing factories, the cuts have been devastating.
Boeing layoffs are continuing here in Washington. Monday, the state's Employment Security Department shared or received notice that Boeing has issued layoff notices to another 396 employees in the state. We know that last week, more than 220 employees who are members of the Society of Professional Engineering Employees in Aerospace, known as SPEA, received layoff notices, including 184 engineers and 38 people in technical roles. So far, that union that represents Boeing employees in multiple states has had more than 600 members receive layoff notices. These layoffs come as Boeing deals with financial losses from deadly Boeing 737 MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019, a door plug blowout earlier this year, and the weeks-long machinist strike this fall. Boeing said in a statement, as announced in early October, we are adjusting our workforce levels to align with our financial reality and a more focused set of priorities. We are committed to ensuring our employees have support during this challenging time. These layoffs add to the more than 2,000 Washington jobs the company has cut so far this year.
Meanwhile, Cargill, one of the largest privately held companies in the world, has been forced to shutter multiple plants, displacing 8,500 workers. These layoffs highlight the vulnerabilities in industries that were once seen as stable pillars of the economy. During the pandemic, UPS workers were hailed as heroes, delivering goods while much of the nation was locked down. In August of 2024, the company secured a historic contract with the Teamsters Union, promising better wages and protections. But by the end of 2024, UPS announced 12,000 layoffs, blaming efficiency upgrades and automation.
UPS workers will keep on delivering packages after voting to ratify a new 5-year contract, averting a potential strike. The deal includes significant pay increases, air conditioning in new trucks, and thousands of new full-time jobs. The president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters says the contract will improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of workers.
Channel 2 consumer advisor Clark Howard reacting to UPS's announcement Tuesday after the Sandy Springs-based company confirmed that it would cut 12,000 jobs as part of an effort to save $1 billion.
Corporate America's love affair with artificial intelligence and automation isn't about enhancing productivity for workers. It's about eliminating them. Machines don't require salaries, benefits, or vacation and sick days, and their efficiency often exceeds human capabilities. The result? A relentless drive to replace human workers with technology, no matter the consequences. In retail, self-checkout kiosks and cashier-less stores have become the new norm. Chains like Walmart, Target, and Kroger have readily adopted this technology, citing convenience for customers. But the real motivation is cutting labor costs. Each self-checkout kiosk replaces 3 to 5 cashiers, drastically reducing staffing needs.
Kroger, one of the nation's largest supermarket chains, has just converted one of its stores to self-checkout only. Walmart and Dollar General also experimenting with no-man registers.
If your store went full self-checkout, how big of a problem would that be for you?
Huge.
But are we now at a point where it is here to stay forever?
Oh, yeah. I don't see we're turning back on this.
Stu Leonard Jr. owns 7 stores in the New York area and says he's noticed an obvious trend.
The younger people embrace it and love to use it more than older people. I don't see much gray hair in the self-checkout line.
He says 75% of his customers still prefer human cashiers, so he's keeping them. But there are labor savings with self-checkout.
We have one cashier for one customer at the regular checkout line. Over here, we try to have 8 of them, I think, and we have 2 people on board right now. The ratio now goes 4 to 1.
There's some growing pains associated with it.
Just like any technology, self-checkout, there are growing pains.
In warehouses, companies like Amazon and Walmart now use robotic pickers and sorters to handle inventory. These machines can work 24/7 without breaks and days off, replacing multiple human workers for each robotic system installed.
This is the world's most advanced e-commerce warehouse, run entirely by AI robots. This entire operation is managed by 48 Bright Pick auto picker robots. And these robots, they handle everything from replenishing inventory to robotically picking orders and getting them ready for dispatch. And that's how this facility, operated by leading sports nutrition retailer, The Feed, is able to work 24/7 and pick 50,000 items per day, all while just using a handful of actual people.
And it's not just blue-collar workers who are at risk. White-collar jobs, once thought immune to automation, are increasingly being replaced by AI. Customer service agents are being replaced by AI chatbots, like those developed by companies such as OpenAI and Google. These chatbots can handle thousands of queries simultaneously, eliminating the need for call center staff. In journalism, the Washington Post and other major outlets now use AI algorithms to write articles on topics like weather updates, sport recaps, and even financial reporting. One AI program can generate hundreds of articles in the time it would take a team of reporters to write just a few. And the healthcare industry, long thought to require a human touch, is also feeling the effects of automation. AI-powered diagnostic tools can analyze medical images such as MRIs and X-rays more quickly and accurately than human radiologists. These tools are reducing the need for highly trained specialists. Automated patient management systems are replacing administrative staff, from scheduling appointments to processing billing. Even industries like law and finance are seeing the rise of AI-powered tools capable of analyzing legal documents, creating contracts, and processing data at speeds no human can match. And why are corporations so eager to replace workers with machines? The answer lies in the profit motive. First, as we stated earlier, machines don't require salaries, benefits, or pensions. A one-time investment in AI or robotics can pay for itself within months, drastically reducing long-term costs. Second, AI systems can handle exponential growth in demand without needing additional staff. For example, a single chatbot can serve millions of customers, whereas scaling human staff would require massive recruitment efforts. Third, machines don't unionize, strike, or demand better working conditions. They can be upgraded or replaced without negotiation, giving corporations complete control. And lastly, when companies cut labor costs, they can reallocate the savings into stock buybacks, which inflate share prices. This benefits executives whose compensation is often tied to stock performance. This rapid adoption of automation and AI, combined with corporate greed, has left millions of workers scrambling to adapt. The human toll of these decisions is staggering. In retail, with thousands of stores closing, jobs for cashiers, stock clerks, and store managers are vanishing. These positions often provided stable employment for individuals without college degrees, leaving many with few alternatives. In tech, the same companies touting innovation and progress, Amazon, Meta, and Google, are laying off tens of thousands of workers, replacing many with AI-driven tools.
Today, we are making the unfortunate and difficult decision to reduce the size of Discord's workforce by 17%. This means we are saying goodbye to 170 of our talented colleagues. By 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, everyone will receive an email. In your email, you will learn whether or not your employment has been impacted by this reduction in force.
I find out if I'm laid off in 20 minutes. Breakup text through email. Yeah, I got the email. Holy shit, dude. I am laid off. Fuck. Oh my god. Wow. Fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm fucking laid off. Holy shit, dude. You need to cancel your day. That's crazy. This is how I'm gonna go. 17% is a lot. Goodbye.
In manufacturing, companies like those operated by Boeing and Cargill that are cutting jobs blame automation and supply chain challenges, all while the gap between CEOs and average workers has never been wider. While executives collect multi-million-dollar bonuses, displaced workers are left without health insurance, retirement savings, or any sense of security.
17,000 U.S. Boeing workers are expected to receive layoff notices, and the workers we talked to at the Renton facility share despair about the current uncertainty.
I feel like layoffs would impact morale for anybody, on different levels. We're all concerned about our jobs, but, the best we can do is, push forward.
Boeing's CEO said it was trimming away 10% of their workforce after they experienced $25 billion in losses in the last 5 years. Some workers say they've been thinking about how to start over if their job gets cut.
Well, I have a 12-year career here. I'd love to finish it. But being in the vulnerable position that I'm in, then, it's something that is going to take a setback for sure.
Boeing has not released what employees will be let go, but we know it will impact various jobs. And that could include machinists who just recently agreed to a new contract with Boeing that includes a 38% pay raise over 4 years.
For example, Amazon's CEO earned over $200 million in total compensation in 2024, even as the company laid off tens of thousands of employees.
Amazon is back at it again, and this time they're cutting 14,000 employees. That's right, they're laying off 14,000 managers. Can you believe that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have problems.
A lot of you guys are like, Orlando, come on, that video you did on Amazon telling individuals to come back to work or you're gonna get laid off, or Amazon telling people to come back to work, and it was basically a soft layoff. Nobody believed me. But now we're here and Amazon is back at it again. Remember, this is Amazon's second or third layoff. Who knows at this point? They're just laying off, and laying off more people.
Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg pocketed a $27 million bonus despite massive layoffs across his company's divisions. Corporations often frame these changes as progress, necessary steps to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving economy. But the truth is that the ripple effect of these closures and layoffs extend far beyond the immediate job losses. They are exacerbating an already worsening housing crisis. With mortgage rates above 7% and rents up 25% in just 3 years, millions of Americans are struggling to stay housed. Families that once relied on steady incomes from retail, restaurants, and manufacturing now face eviction or foreclosure as their financial safety nets collapse. As of 2024, nearly 600,000 Americans were unhoused, an 11% increase since 2020. This crisis isn't limited to urban centers. Tent cities are spreading into suburban neighborhoods, highlighting the pervasive nature of this issue. Food banks across the country report record demand. Families are being forced to make impossible choices between paying rent and putting food on the table. This is the harsh reality for millions of people living in one of the world's wealthiest nations. This isn't just a story about layoffs and closures, it's a reckoning. For the average worker, the message is clear. You're expendable. Automation will always come first, and the bottom line will always matter more than your livelihood. While companies boast about their record-breaking profits and innovation, millions of Americans are left asking, where do we go from here?